To the casual observer, life and the early morning routines on Cornellskop farm in South Africa's Western Cape will appear much like those of any other farm. The familiar sounds of traditional livestock, workers arriving at dawn, prepared for a long day ahead. Large machines rumbling into life and animals let out from barns and coops. The sounds of fodder being prepared for the first duty of the day, checking on the livestock and making sure they are fed and watered. Gradually, though, the sights and sounds of Cornellskop lead to the certain conclusion that this is no ordinary farm. The owner of Cornellskop, Luke Cornell, is one of the world's foremost animal trainers for movies. And Luke's farm boasts a variety of animals, which would make even Noah, famed for his ark, green with envy.
Yeah, my name's Luke Cornell. I live here at Cornellskop farm, 90 kilometers from Cape Town, surrounded by my animals.
Running Cornellskop farm is a massive undertaking. The work is non-stop and all-consuming.
Every morning we do rounds. Immediately, first thing we do is we go and check all the fencing, feed all the animals, check them, everybody's happy, like a basic farm round.
Luke is the leader in his field and has been headhunted for movies involving some of Hollywood's biggest stars.
We've worked on most of the big movies that have been shot in this country that used animals. My daughter was Kim Basinger's daughter on I Dreamed of Africa. I did all the venomous snakes, the dogs, the vultures, the cheetahs, the monkeys, racing stripes. The zebras, the baby from Racing Stripes. Lord of War, hyena with Nicolas Cage, all the animals on the runways, with Leonardo and all of them on Blood Diamonds.
His work behind the scenes has helped make heroes in front of camera. However, it is Luke's skill with apex predators which commands the greatest attention and respect. For Luke, it is all about the animals. They are his family, and he looks after them as his children. Most animals on the farm have been rescued or adopted. Each one has a story and unique character traits, and most would not be alive today if not for the work that Luke does with his dedicated team of Shanae, Aaron and Moose.
We've got lions, cheetahs, caracal, hyena, different species of baboons, different species of monkeys, giraffe, zebras, deer, raccoons, meerkats, leguavans, snakes, spiders, peacocks, horses, geese. Yeah, we have a lot of animals. I have an emotional relationship with every single animal I own. They're my extended family. The caracal grew up here, the lions grew up here, the hyena grew up here, all in my garden, all in my bedroom. So my kids grew up running the gauntlet past the hyena to get in the car to go to school, with lions chasing them.
Should I introduce myself? Why not? So my name is Aaron Lute. I am from Holland, from a small town called Heemskerk, close to the coast. It's a lot different compared to South Africa. I don't miss home a lot. What I do miss is the fishing at home, because it's so easy in Holland. Everywhere you go there's water. How do I describe Luke? Luke is a character, and he's not always an easy man. He has more patience with animals than with people. And he has a special way. Somehow he makes animals do things that you wouldn't expect.
Good. Good. Speak to him. Good. 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 Gently. Good. Speak. Speak. Roger. Speak to him. Good boy. Okay, come. Good. Up. Yes, my good boy. Hey? Good. Good boy. Sure, good. Gently. Gently. Good boy. Gently. Good boy. Good. I have two adult males, Mojo and Moby. They're 7 years of age now. Their dad was a very expensive trophy male because he had an incredibly pronounced belly mane, and his mane was dark and touched his front feet. So apparently if you want to shoot a lion, that's like worth a lot of money. You want to shoot a lion, you obviously have psychological issues, but so they come from a trophy farm.
So Moby is a soft boy. He loves kisses, he loves Luke. If you do anything to offend Luke, he will go for you. Whereas Mojo is the complete opposite. He tolerates Luke. He works with Luke, he's a stunning working lion, but he's got a bit of attitude.
Kiss. I talk to my animals all the time while I'm working. When I'm with them, I talk to them all the time. It's a reassuring thing for them. They know where I'm coming from. They know that I'm relaxed. They know that I'm aware of them. And they talk to me, you know. They, you know, Mojo, for instance, he told us, I don't want anybody else near you, I'll kill them. So no one else can come near him but me. Moby, on the other hand, he'll tell me just by looking at somebody if that person can come and interact with him or not.
Mojo is our more aggressive lion. He does all our aggression scenes, snarling, charging, all that kind of stuff. And then Moby is our more friendly lion. And then with Moby I can still go in with Luke. Mojo, no, he'll eat me. And I've never tried because I don't want to die.
You need to have that vocabulary of communication with your animals, otherwise you're going to have a fatal accident, you know. And you're only as good as your last job in this industry. I mean, if I'd hurt Leonardo DiCaprio or Kim Basinger or Angelina Jolie, if one of my animals has hurt one of those people, I'd never work again in my life. And then my source of income to support my animals would be curtailed. There's a huge difference on working with animals that are a distinct danger to other people. The cheetahs, they're not dangerous to people. Whereas the lions, if a lion doesn't like you, he's going to kill you. If I'm working big cats, I won't work them if I'm in a bad mood, and I won't work them if they're in a bad mood. That's also the reason that I'm alive today.
The nice thing about the two big male lions is they speak to you. They don't just come and attack you. They give you warning signs. They like give you a warning growl like, hey, I'm not in the mood today. It's still scary, but at least it's a warning.
When I put my bait bag on, when I'm working with the big boys, with Mojo and Moby, when I strap my belt on and I open the trailer, I'm alive. And it's me and that lion. I won't carry a radio when I'm working because I'm distracted. I'll never take photographs when I'm working because I'll get distracted. It's me and that lion, and I watch him all the time. In the 5 younger lions, I had to source cubs for a commercial about 3 years ago. And they wanted specific age cubs, and I managed to source them on a bone trade farm. I mean, I have the photographic evidence of what they looked like when I found them. It is heartbreaking. I mean, check the fence. It's like a sheep fence. You know, they were covered in rabbit shit and their claws couldn't retract.
Yeah, I mean, there you can see it. Check it out. Check out the shit on him. Check his nose, he's all glued, closed. His fur is all full of rubbish. That's Stompy.
There were serious vitamin deficiencies to the extent that two of them are really squint.
I mean, check here. He's raw here. There's shit all over him. His claws are extended. He couldn't pull his claws back. His feet are actually deformed.
So what do you have to do? You have to
So I had to pull the balls of rabbit shit off. Because they're like clauncher. They were like round balls on the end of his toes. I had to break it off and re-oil the sheath in the nail.
So what, the sheath is the bit that brings it in and out?
Yeah. Yeah, just totally dry. You know?
So they've got retractable claws. Now, when it's outside, and because they were in a very dirty space, that type of a shed, then poo balls start forming around. So what you need to do then, because you can't just pull it off, it's hardened. You need to clip each one off, and then you need to oil the nail and the sheets and stick it back in. So if Luke wouldn't have done that time, he probably wouldn't have been able to walk this time.
So it's been a huge journey with those cats, you know, that we took them out of that environment and we brought them here and we prepped them for a commercial. And once the commercial was done, I kind of said to the client, well, it would be really bad for your reputation, quite honestly, if you allowed them to become lion bones. I'd named them. I'd formed a relationship with each individual. I knew their different characters. I knew who would do what. You know, they're not an asset for me. They're not something I buy and sell like a car or boat, or you know, they have a spirit, and they actually look to me for the well-being, their spiritual well-being, not just their physical well-being. So for me to have put them back in a trailer and sent them off to be shot as lion bones to go to China is completely unethical.
So we've got 7 lions on the farm, Moby, Mojo, and then that's our big boys. Then we've got the 5 ones, Stompy, Tummy, Little, Mrs. Big, and Whiskers. Little is a bit arrogant. He wants to do things his way, and if it's not done his way, he does turn on you. Then Tummy is our shy boy, so with him we need to take everything slow. With Stompy, he loves everybody. He just wants to be around, he's the center of attention. And then we've got our 2 females, Whiskers and Mrs. Big. Mrs. Big is the shyest one you'll probably find. So with her also, slow movement, talk nicely. And Whiskers she's a inquisitive cat.
I do think the animals enjoy working with Luke. I think the animals enjoy working. Our animals, they're captive animals and they need to be stimulated. You know, you need to do enrichment. And I definitely think our animals get joy from getting out and working. Like our cheetahs and like the lions, they jump in the trailer more easily than most people's dogs will.
My animals love what they do. They're ecstatic to go out and explore and exercise and run around and smell. You know, I feel obligated to offer them that experience. Fear, I mean, I don't feel fear with animals. When you're around such magnificent animals, it still has a sense of peace in me.
I think for these 7 lions, we've saved their lives, and I think that's a good thing.
Every day is a gift, but when you're working with apex predators, there's always a chance they're going to kill you. You have to be prepared for anything. The most dangerous wild animal is a tame wild animal, because they're not scared of you. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes with every single different animal on this farm. And we're responsible for it. It can't put up its hand and say, listen, but there's algae in my water. Hello, my pretty girl. It's a 7-day-a-week job. You either have the passion for it. It's a filthy job. Look at us. We're always dirty, covered in shit, blood, paint, whatever. We work 7 days a week. We don't wear fancy clothes. We don't drive fancy cars. We don't own holiday houses. We don't own boats. We don't own toys. We live with our animals here. And if you can't live the job, you don't want the job.
The most important thing to Luke is taking care of his animals properly.
Probably the most difficult part is being able to work with me.
It's more difficult to work with Luke than to work with any of the animals. No.
My first days on the farm was a bit intimidating. Literally, as we arrived on the farm, it was taking lions out for a walk, running cheetahs, you standing there like a muppet, not really knowing what to do. And Luke is just like, oh, take the car that side, oh, come this side, pull the lure that way. So it was adventurous. My name is Shanae Luther, and I was born in Caledon in the Western Cape, South Africa. I've been on Luke's farm for 4 years, 2 weeks, and 3 days. I count every day. I am very happy here. It doesn't feel like a job. It feels more like a lifestyle. It's a treasure. So as I got to know Luke, I realized that he is not as hard as he comes across. Because that's your first perception. This guy with tattoos, hard look on his face, but he's quite a softy inside. He's like a Ferrero chocolate. Crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside.
Nice. Soft, eh? Really?
Good with children, brilliant with animals. Some people think that the animals for Luke is more like possessions. It's not like that. For Luke, the animals are more like children. It's his kids. He definitely cares for the animals almost better than his own family.
I suppose my fascination for animals started at a young age. I used to catch snakes from about 5 years of age. Kept racing pigeons, you know, whatever you could do in suburbia. I've always longed to be in nature.
Working with the cheetahs is a bit like taking your dog for a walk. Just a bigger dog that can potentially hurt you.
Come, let up.
Cheetahs are built to run, but they need to run. You know, before we feed them their big meal, they run because that's how it works in nature. And if you emulate nature, you have healthy animals.
We've got Zulu and Rocket. Now Zulu is turning 10 in December, and then Rocket is our old boy, he's already 12 years old. Rocket's character is very soft, gentle, he's like an old man. Zulu, on the other hand, he's determined. He wants to work. He doesn't want to sit around and play around. He wants to get going, he wants to run. He's the action cat.
Action!
Rocket it also came from a type of a can hunting farm. And then Zulu, the story I was told, he was apparently in a place where he was supposed to do encounters. And then they got bankrupt and the owners left him. With Rocket, I've got a really good relationship. I've even fallen asleep next to him one day, so he's a really relaxed cat.
You know, if I get upset, I'll go and sit with Rocket. And he'll put his head in my lap and purr at me for half an hour. How can you be upset after that?
I'm happy. You know, I mean, I might not be at home, but I mean, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
I'm good with the cheetahs, but anybody can be good with the cheetahs. They're very easy to work with. I'm more a meerkat and a primate girl.
Oh, Bobby! Good girl, Minx. Minky comes from a breeder which used to feed her apparently marshmallows and flings and all the sweet things. So when she got here, she didn't want to eat anything except bananas. But now we've got her in quite a healthy meal. Cucumber, tomatoes, a bit of a wrap in there as well. And then later today, she can get her banana and her apples.
The primates make me laugh all the time. They're so funny. They do things that you would never expect. They just enjoy themselves.
Do they have a sense of humor? Do you find a sense of humor with any of them?
I think Boetie, the baboon, definitely has a sense of humor, because sometimes if you do something that he finds incredibly funny, he'll sit there with the open mouth, you know. It almost looks like he's kind of laughing at you. Yeah, I do have a special favorite on the farm, which is the meerkats Maya and Gray. They're very inquisitive. They're fun to work with. They always make you laugh. They're starting to come a little bit more feistier with other people, so it's basically just me being able to work them.
So I like working with the ostriches because they're just so funny. They're prehistoric. They're like prehistoric animals. They're like mini dinosaurs. And in certain ways they're very stupid, and in certain ways they're very clever. And they're just funny to look at. They're always doing something. Like a lion sleeps most of the day. But they're always up to something. And they peck at things and they grab things, and they're just hilarious.
So I'm a mummy to quite a few, 7 small little bunnies, and then of course at this moment my favorite, the ostrich.
We had 3 ostrich eggs that hatched. We tried to have the babies with the mothers, have them raise themselves. But they aren't the best of mothers, and there was bad weather. So when we've lost 2, and therefore we've decided to take the one away and try and raise it ourselves.
They weigh up to 60 kilograms, 80 kilograms, the males, the big males, I think. Aaron will correct you.
Even more.
Over 100 kilos
over
if they're
100
really
they
big
go.
males. But basically they're just a big drumstick. That's about their weight. And they've got a very hard breastplate which they can charge you with. This is Vitnek. I've had her for 18 years. She's very tough.
My love affair with Lollipop, through a fence only. We're keeping it interesting. Luke was driving down from a job from the Free State, and on his way he came across people that was auctioning off Lola, the spot hyena, and they were auctioning her for bow and arrow hunters.
So was when she came?
She was, I'm not completely sure how old she was, but I know she was tiny, you know. She was still a cub. Lola only loves Luke, nobody else.
Good, right? Good.
Working on a film set is fun. You always expect the animal's going to do something, and then the animal goes around and does the complete opposite. Then you got to make a plan to get the animal back in frame or do what it needs to do. And then sometimes, of course, the directors will also push you a little bit. Say, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. Can we maybe just let the baboon do another backflip?
Go. Hup, 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 hup. Good, catch that. Good, catch that. Good.
Sometimes they ask ridiculous questions, and then you must just say no. If you think it's dangerous for the animal, no.
No, you know, for me the animal comes first. It's as simple as that. I won't put my animal under undue stress for you to get a shot that you really need. If I can achieve it, I'll happily do it for you as many times as the animal's prepared to do it. But the animal calls it. The minute I see that animal's had enough, we've had enough. There's a set way I work with them. They know that's how we work, and we don't break those rules. We don't suddenly spring a surprise on me or the lion on what we're suddenly going to do. Can we try this now? No, we can't. The lion goes back in his trailer, we discuss it, I'll think about it, I'll think how I'll make the lion react in the way they want, bring the lion out and I'll do it. There's no ad hocing, there's no busking when you're working with a big cat. Those big lions, they work like stars, you know. I have an immense sense of pride. I get quite emotional, actually, when I see Mojo in full charge, you know. And you know, you can reset him again in 5 minutes, you know. You can take that lion back there and he's going to do it again for you. He's not going to kill you. He's not going to go for the crew. He knows it's a game of chasing that lure. And to see his enjoyment and to see the client and agency watching the screen going, oh, God, look at that. Look at his mane. Look at his paws. And you think, yeah, and he loved doing it too, actually. He didn't do it because I was going to whip him if he didn't do it. And that is, for me, the joy of my work, is to see the animal having a great time and delivering a performance that blows everybody away, you know. And that's what we do, is we make the work fun for them. The minute you're putting an animal under duress, firstly, you don't want to put an apex predator under stress, because they fight animals, they're not flight animals. Animals work until they're finished working, and then they don't work anymore. The extreme danger, especially with primates and things, is that if you push them beyond that limit, they go helter-skelter. And there's a very strong possibility that you won't work that animal again, which means he's then a prisoner. There's no more coming out to work, there's no more exploring, there's no more playing. Now you're locked in a cage for the rest of your life. It's not fair to do that to an animal. We opened ourselves up to animal encounters, where people could come here, do tours, interact with some of the animals, see the cheetahs run, and basically spend time with the animals on the farm. It proved very successful. We also did a lot of outreach work with underprivileged schools in the area, where kids pay £5 and they come on an outing here and they go on an educational tour. We've got boards up with endangered species, a schedule that the animal comes from, some of its characteristics, when it was born. So as an educational facility, the encounter part of our offering has reached a lot of people, especially kids.
I've seen a lot of kids overcoming their fear with animals. Most of the cases is either with Columbia or with Rocket, where they're too scared to encounter, they're too scared to even go inside, and then you slowly take them, you talk them through it, and then eventually they love it.
Just seeing the absolute enthrallment on children's faces, you know, they're absolutely enchanted by this animal. You know, they've only seen it on a TV set before, or on their cell phone screen, and here it is, running past them at 100 k's an hour, and then it's lying at their feet purring. And it's become a reality. It's like opening Pandora's box for some kids, you know, and adults. When a zebra walks up to you and it rubs on you to say hello, it has a profound effect on some people, you know. They've never seen a zebra up close, and now it's actually asking them for affection. And that also just illustrates to them that animals also have feelings.